love, 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 love. I make love my joy.
I make love my joy.
I make joy my joy.
I make joy my joy.
I make peace my joy.
I make peace my joy.
I make peace my joy. All together, peace. Thank Linda for being willing to jump up into the song without any rehearsal. And of course, Jane and Emily Briggs. What an amazing spirit they bring to this ministry.
They're great.
Peace is a choice. Joy is a choice. Love is a choice. But at some level, we'll be honest about it, making a choice is a choice. If you don't choose to choose, you haven't made a choice at all, or have you? So, I've been in ministry since 1984. I started at the Unity Church of Walnut Creek. We were living in Berkeley, California for about 5 years. And over the years, I've encountered so many people in the process of spiritual direction who are looking for the answer, for the answer. And they want the book with the mantra, the chapter, and the key that will help them find the place from which they'll live at peace. And I kept running into those people year after year, and I tried my best to explain it. The reason I kept running into those people who were looking for the answer is because they were reflecting that part of me that was looking for the answer, the way to be, that I could finally, stop that and have only that. You know what I'm talking about? And it's only after 40 years of doing this work and by the grace of God, that I finally have come to understand that it's a process of taking a little by little, one little choice at a time makes the big changes. But the big changes don't happen all at once. Oh, I'm not saying they don't happen. I'm not saying that there aren't people who got enlightened in a moment and famed to see exactly the way forward, and I'm happy for them. But for me, myself, it's just a matter of getting humble and remembering little by little to take the little choices that make the big differences. I'd like to share a favorite poem of mine by Lynn Unger, who is a Unitarian minister in San Francisco. Choice. There isn't a right answer. There just isn't. The game show where the bells ring and the points go up and the confetti falls because you got the answer right is a lie. The preacher who would assure you of how to attain salvation is making it all up. The doctor who knows just how to fix you will know something else tomorrow. Every choice will wound someone, heal someone, build a wall, and open a conversation. Things will happen that you can't foresee, but you have to choose. It's all we have, that little rudder of choice that we employ in the midst of all the eddies and rapids, the current that pulls us this and that way, but inexorably towards the sea. The fact that you are swept along by the river is no excuse. Lean in toward what you love. When in doubt, tell the truth. So I'm here today, this morning, to share my truth. Truth with a little t. I don't claim to have the truth. It's not the best truth. It's not the shiniest truth. It's not the biggest truth. It's definitely not the sexiest truth. But it's my truth. And I reserve the right for it to be a different truth tomorrow because I'm a mixable, changeable sort of a guy. And For a long time now, I've come to understand this truth, that I am free to choose to be glad. And today I choose to be glad. And GLAD for me is an acronym, G-L-A-D, and G stands for gratitude. I choose to be grateful. I choose to start each day with gratitude. For several years now, I literally, before getting out of bed, just the moment that I'm awake and aware that I'm awake, I take a moment to be grateful. A, for having woken up and having a good night's sleep, because I almost always have a good night's sleep. Gracias a Dios. And I get to wake up next to my beloved wife for 43 years. Most days, that's a good way to start the day. And then I try to make a list of it, at least 5 things. It's a habit with me. At least 5 things I'm grateful for. And round about time I get to the 5th or 6th or 7th or 8th time, it's probably a thing on my list. It's usually time to go to the bathroom. And then I'm just grateful that I can go to the bathroom, that I can walk with my own 2 legs, and that I have a bathroom to go to. Not everybody has that choice with clean running water right there. Now already I'm up to 10 things, and I haven't done a single thing yet except soak my day in gratitude. G, I'm glad to start my day in gratitude. L, I choose to live a life of love. I choose to live from the heart. Easier said than done for a guy who thinks too darn much, overthinks almost everything. I, like many of us, spent much of my early life getting rewarded for being smart, knowing the right answers on the tests and getting more A's. Well, all A's, of course, who would even want to be? And all A's and knowing the right answer. And then I got a little older and realized there are no right answers. And I can't figure out the right answer in my head, but I can figure out the right answer in my heart all the time. If I sink into my heart and come from a place of love. Stop with the stinking thinking and get to a place of love for whatever it is in the moment that I'm being asked to love, which is often myself. Because very often, if I'm out of tune and feeling funky, it's mostly because there's some part of me that I'm not at peace with in the world. I'm glad to live from gratitude and love. And the A, acceptance. I choose to live my life from a place of accepting what is, just the way it is, just exactly the way it is, knowing that it's perfect for now. Is some jerk cutting me off in traffic? That's perfect for now. Instead of being mad at him for cutting me off, why don't I just be grateful for a moment that I was going too darn fast in my mind trying to get somewhere in a hurry, and just accept that I've got an infinite amount of time. Because finally, A of acceptance asks me to come back to the first unity principle again and again, which is what? There is but one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God the good and omnipotent. And that God is, what's the second principle? I am made in the image and likeness of God, and so is everybody else I'm dealing with, including that jerk who just cut me off in traffic, including my teenage son. Never mind, I no longer have a teenage son. I haven't had a teenage son for 6 years. He hadn't lived in the house in 4 years, and there's still some part of me ready to be plugged in by what my teenage son did years ago. No matter who or what is bothering me. No matter who or what is bothering me. It is made in the image and likeness of God. And it is a gift. And I'm asked to accept it just the way it is for now. Yes, I would like to be more at peace with my neighbor, that jerk, whose dog barks all night, who shoots squirrels, who throws his trash out in the street, and is president of the neighborhood association. I am asked to remember that he too is a child of God, doing the very best he can with what he's got to live his life to the fullest. No matter what I think about it, no matter how inconvenient it is for me to deal with that truth, that guy and that woman and this circumstance is here for me to accept it just the way it is, knowing that this too is a gift from God. Much easier said than done, but no less important to do. Keep coming back to A. So now I'm living in gratitude, living from a place of love, doing what I can to accept what is, whatever it is out there or in here. And do it from a place of dancing. The D in glad is dancing. Dancing is yay, dancing is celebrate, but dancing is also asking me to acknowledge that dancing is non-linear. Dancing requires me to surrender to the music, to the flow of the moment. It often is asking me to surrender to my partner. And guess what? I always got a dancing partner. And it's my shadow. My shadow is that part of me that I don't like, that I'm ashamed of, that scares me, pisses me off. That part that I kept trying to grow out of and grow beyond and fix and change is still there. That little boy who still wants approval and love and is never good enough and never smart enough and can never really do it right, still living with me. That guy who's just a little bit slimy and ready to tell the story to his own benefit. A guy who still hasn't quite figured out how to be in relationship with folks of the other gender, or my own gender for that matter. Of course, it's getting increasingly difficult to tell what gender means, but that's another issue for another time. I just know there's a part of me that lives in my second chakra that's deeply confused still, and is still the scared boy standing against the wall at that junior high school dance, wanting to know how to be with that pretty woman. That shadow is here and not going away. And I don't care how many times I affirm, how many 12-step meetings I go to, how much time spent in therapy, that shadow is here. And rather than trying to make it go away, I'm asked to dance with it, to hold it in front of me and see it as it arises. See it as it wants to judge my neighbor, my son, my work, my wife. There's all kinds of things I want to judge, and they're all being judged by that shadow part of me. Okay? And if I can just hold that shadow part in front of me and dance with it, knowing that I'm dancing in a nonlinear way, it doesn't have to make sense, but calls me to the present again and again, asking me to choose to be glad, to be grateful, to be loving, to be accepting, to dance. One of the things that helps me dance is another practice I have in my personal tool chest, which is the 4 directions in the congregation that I've been leading for the last 30 years or so. We start each gathering by facing the 4 directions of the compass in turn. And we do that because as we know that as we face the south, we face the direction of blessings. We face the direction of the noonday sun, of summer, of love and ease and health and joy, and we open to the south and welcome it. But then we turn to the west, the direction of the setting sun, the direction of autumn, the direction of transformation, acknowledging that everything is changing at all times. Nothing stands still, and the only thing certain is death. And so by facing into the West and facing into our own death and to the impermanence of everything and everyone, we become more open and available. And then turn to the north, the direction of the cold wind, of midnight, of winter, the direction of challenge that we each must face. Each and every one of us, each and every day, have some challenge facing us, right? We can wish it were otherwise, but it isn't. And then we turn and face the east, the direction of the rising sun, of spring, of newness and of freshness, greeting this moment and this moment and this moment throughout the day. And then turn to the fifth direction, to the inner, to the axis mundi, where the human meets the divine, where then the all and the everything is present in the particular. Does that mean God lives in the five directions? That doesn't mean that when I'm facing the east that something mystical is happening. No, it means that I'm embracing the archetypes that are involved in all human growth at all time. That at every moment, each and every one of us has blessings that we're invited to let go of so that we can face the challenge and come fresh to this moment. We're asked to dance with all four of those directions simultaneously all day, every day. The problem is that we as the Westerners, in the American culture in particular, think we deserve to have it all right now and to have it our way. You deserve a break today. Well, maybe not. Maybe today's not your day to have a break. Maybe today is just a stinking, rotten, no good, lousy day. Welcome life, right? And as we remember to be glad in the face of all of it, to stand in gratitude with love and acceptance and a willingness to dare to dance. Just dance from a place of vulnerability and possibility. Then magic happens. At least, that's my experience in my life. Another poem, The Open Door by Dana Faulds, another fabulous contemporary poet, Faulds, look her up. Dana Faulds. The Open Door. A door opens. Maybe I've been standing here shuffling my weight from foot to foot for decades. Or maybe I only knocked once a moment ago. In truth, it doesn't matter. A door opens, and I walk through without a backward glance. This is it then. One moment of truth in a lifetime of truth. A choice made. A path taken, the gravitational pull of spirit too compelling to ignore any longer. I am received by something far too vast to see. It has roots in antiquity, but speaks clearly in the present tense. Be, the vastness says. Be without adverbs, descriptors, or qualifiers. Be so alive that awareness bakes itself uncloaked and unadorned. Then go forth to give what you alone can give. Then go forth to give what you alone can give. Awake to love and suffering, unburdened by the weight of expectations. Go forth to see and be seen, blossoming, always blossoming into your true magnificence. Won't you breathe into that with me?